Sometimes when you have the curved logs like that, it wasn't a very straight one. You kind of just go for the best you can. This log here, or this little beam, 6x6, didn't turn out perfect, but you know what? It's going to be good for a bridge or you know, something we're going to do around here at the property. This is one of the first videos in this whole new channel that I've started, so just kind of wanted to go over this aspect of what it is that we're doing here. This is the Woodmizer Hydraulic Sawmill that we use and have been using for about 5 years. I figure we've got a pretty good handle on it now. I run it, my son runs it, my buddy Jamie, he runs it, and we can hammer out quite a bit of wood with this. One of the main differences between this and a lot of the saws that are, or the sawmills that are commercially available today, is that this is hydraulic. This is a fully hydraulic sawmill with a power-fed head, so the mill head moves back and forth just by touching a few little buttons. And it's not automated, but it's very user-friendly in that there's not a whole lot of effort to actually get the logs up on the mill, to move them around. And sometimes I just come out here myself and I'll mill up, although it is a little slower, but I can still get a lot of work done here when I have the forklift working. Some of the main differences between something like this and some of the less expensive sawmills that you can get are the hydraulics, and that's a big thing. We all know that hydraulics make everybody's life a lot easier, but the differences are, of course, the price point. Now, when you have piles of logs like that behind you and like that there and like the other stuff that we have all over the place, and you're moving quite a bit of lumber and big beams and whatnot, you kind of need something that's got a hydraulic assist on it. To do this all by tractor and with PVs and to try to move everything around by hand, yes, you can do it, but it's going to take a lot of work, man. To get through just one pile like that without hydraulics would be an all summer ordeal. These have been here all summer, and as you can see, since last fall, and we're still working on them now because we've had other things to do. But those are the big differences. You know, a mill like this new is probably about $40,000 or $45,000 as compared to some of the smaller mills that you can get that you have to do everything by hand basically. I think they're anywhere from about $4 to $10 grand with various options on them. You know, you can get the odd little hydraulic thing to help you, and you can do some things to make life a little easier. But if you're moving logs like that, you're going to need equipment as well, right? So where do you put your money? Do you put your money into the sawmill, or do you put it into a tractor, or do you put it into an outdoor forklift like what we have? You kind of got to figure out what it is that you're doing with your sawmill. I'd say for somebody like a homesteader with a little tractor who can go around and pick up a log here and there and cut it, cut the tree down, mill up a few little logs, you can get by with a less expensive model, and a lot of guys are. You know what, there are a lot of sawmills right now, probably pretty much in every farmer's yard. There's a sawmill, what is it, a Norwood, and some of the less expensive Woodmizers. But if you want to pump out volume and big logs, then you're going to need the hydraulics. And sometimes it's better to output the money earlier on in the game than try to figure out that, yeah, you didn't do it right and you need the bigger mill. We can probably do, when Jamie and I are running this mill and we're going pretty hard at it, we can do almost 3,000 board feet a day, and that's in an 8-hour day in the middle of the hot summer. So we can really move it out, and that's pine and spruce of varying sizes, a lot of board and batten and that kind of thing. You wouldn't be able to do that with a smaller mill. But I am going to get into some milling videos. I'm going to show you what it is that we do to maximize the yield on the log. Sometimes there's a bit of a trade-off between the yield on the log and the amount of time that it takes, because time is money, and the more cuts you make, the more blades you go through, and sometimes it's just not worth it. You know, I could have slammed a 4-foot or a 6-foot board out of that, but there'd be a lot of time messing around trying to trim it up and whatnot. And with something like that, because the log's so twisted, I know that As soon as you make a small board with it, it's probably going to do one of these. But there are ways to sort of combat that as well. There are ways to sort of cut this so that it's if they do move, that when they dry, they bend it in the way that you want them to bend. They'll curve. A curve is okay this way, but not longitudinally, if you will. But we'll get into that. We'll do a whole logging and milling series because we're building some cabins. 10 by 10 squared dovetail cabin. We're building a 10 by 5 dovetailed cabin. That's a 10-inch tall and 5-inch wide log, or milled log, if you will. And the big cabin will be about 30 by 30 or 36 by 36 in that area. And then, of course, we have a lot of board and batten to cut. There's a mixture of stuff in there. There's pine, there's cedar, and there's spruce. This is spruce here. Spruce is good. It's a good wood. We like making all our bridges out of them. Lasts a long time, and of course, this is great for 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s, 2x10s, that kind of stuff. Any kind of structural thing. But for the most part, our 10 by 10 squared logs, anywhere from 16 to 20 feet, they'll be out of the big pine in there. So stay tuned, a lot more coming. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, and thanks for joining me here at Rolling Up My Sleeves. 'Cause that's what we do. We roll up our sleeves because we work hard a lot. And a lot of times people don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff of power mods and what it is that we do, which is my other channel. But I figured, well, you know what, we'll show you what we're doing. We're gonna expand our mill yard area. We've got our forklift up and running. It works great. It helps us move the big stuff. We also do a lot of slabbing with our chainsaw mill. I think we've got a 65-inch bar on a steel 880. So we do a lot of work with that, and we'll show some videos of that. I'll try to impart the knowledge that we've gained. I don't do everything perfectly. Sometimes I like to slam things out a little too quickly, and I do lose a little bit of material, but I'm just impatient that way, I guess. Anyway, stick around, more to come. Nice, let's get this done. Let's get the pile done. Got so much to do.